Do it again. Show your process.
Well, first I draw this head, then I erased some of the more detailed features. And 1, 2, 3...
Circle, the set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a given point. Center, the point from which all points of a circle are equidistant. Radius, a segment from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. Chord, a segment whose endpoints are on a circle. Diameter, a chord that contains the center of a circle. Secant, a line that intersects a circle in 2 points. Tangent, a line in the plane of a circle that intersects the circle in exactly 1 point. Oh, did you mean a pale gent? No! A tangent! In a plane, a line is tangent to a circle if and only if the line is perpendicular to a radius of the circle at its endpoint on the circle, or point of tangency. Tangent segments from a common external point are congruent. Central angle, an angle whose vertex is the center of the circle. Major arc, part of a circle measuring between 180 degrees and 360 degrees. Minor arc, part of a circle measuring less than 180 degrees. Semicircle, an arc with endpoints that are the endpoints of a diameter.
I am a pizza.
I am a pizza.
With extra cheese.
With extra cheese.
Bagel. 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 Bagel.
When I say I want, you say pie. I want
Pie.
I want
Pie.
Measure of a minor arc, the measure of its central angle. Measure of a major arc, the difference between 360 degrees and the measure of its related minor arc. Congruent circles. 2 circles are congruent if they have the same radius. Congruent arcs. 2 arcs are congruent arcs if they have the same measure and they are arcs of the same circle or of congruent circles. Arc addition postulate. The measure of an arc formed by 2 adjacent arcs is the sum of the measures of the 2 arcs. Theorem 10.3. In the same circle or in congruent circles, 2 minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. Theorem 10.4. If one chord is a perpendicular bisector of another chord, then the first chord is a diameter. Theorem 10.5. If a diameter of a circle is perpendicular to a chord, then the diameter bisects the chord and its arc. Theorem 10.6. In the same circle or in congruent circles, 2 chords are congruent if and only if they are equidistant from the center. Inscribed angles. An angle whose vertex is on a circle and whose sides contain chords of the circle. Intercepted arc. The arc that lies in the interior of an inscribed angle and has endpoints on the angle. Inscribed polygon. A polygon that has all of its vertices on the circle. Circumscribed circle. A circle that contains the vertices of an inscribed polygon. Measure of an inscribed angle theorem. The measure of an inscribed angle is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. Theorem 10.8. If 2 inscribed angles of a circle intercept the same arc, then the angles are congruent. Theorem 10.9. If a right triangle is inscribed in a circle, then the hypotenuse is the diameter of the circle. Theorem 10.10. A quadrilateral can be inscribed in a circle if and only if its opposite angles are supplementary. Theorem 10.11. If a tangent and a chord intersect at a point on a circle, then the measure of each angle formed is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. Angles inside the circle theorem. If two chords intersect inside the circle, then the measure of each angle is 1/2 the sum of the measures of the arcs intercepted by the angle and its vertical angle. Angles outside the circle theorem. If a tangent and a secant, two tangents or two secants, intersect outside a circle, then the measure of the angle formed is 1/2 the difference of the measures of the intercepted arcs. Segments of a chord. When two chords intersect in the interior of a circle, each chord is divided into two segments called segments of the chord. Secant segments. A segment that contains a chord of a circle and has exactly one endpoint outside the circle. External segment. The part of a secant segment that is outside the circle. Segments of a chord theorem. If two chords intersect in the interior of a circle, then the product of the lengths of the segments of one chord is equal to the product of the lengths of the segments of the other chord. Segments of secant's theorem. If two secant segments share the same endpoint outside a circle, then the product of the lengths of one secant segment and its external segment equals the products of the lengths of the other secant segment and its external segment. Segments of secants and tangents theorem. If a secant segment and a tangent segment share an endpoint outside a circle, then the product of the lengths of the secant segment and its external segments equal the square of the length of the tangent segment. Standard equation of a circle. With center HK and a radius r, the standard equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared.
A circle is a shape, it goes around and around. A circle is a shape, it goes around and around. It's like a pizza and a cookie, a ring and a coin. A circle is a shape, it goes around and around. Draw a circle in the air. 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 Draw a small, small circle in the air. Draw a small, small circle